I woke up at 3:13 a.m. because I heard someone breathing right next to my ear. But when I opened my eyes, I was still completely alone in my locked bedroom. The breathing didn't stop. It was coming from inside the wall. My name is Sophia Reynolds. I'm 27 years old, and I rent a beautiful old Victorian house on the quiet outskirts of a small town in upstate New York. The rent was strangely cheap for such a big place. The landlord said the previous tenant had left suddenly and never came back for his things. I didn't ask questions. I was just happy to finally have my own space after a bad breakup. The first night I moved in, everything felt perfect. High ceilings, wooden floors, big windows. I went to bed exhausted and happy. At exactly 3:13 a.m., I woke up with a jolt. Someone was breathing slowly and deeply right beside my pillow. Warm air touched my ear. I froze. My heart hammered. I slowly turned my head. No one was there. The room was empty, door locked, windows shut, but the breathing continued, soft, steady, calm. It sounded content, like someone watching me sleep and enjoying it. I turned on every light and stayed awake until sunrise. By morning, the sound was gone. I told myself it was a nightmare or the old house settling. I laughed it off. Night 2, same time, 3:13 a.m. The breathing returned. This time it was closer. I could feel the mattress dip slightly, as if someone sat on the edge of the bed. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. After 20 terrifying minutes, the breathing moved away, and I heard it fade into the wall behind my headbed. From that night on, it became a pattern. Every single night at 3:13 a.m., the breathing started. Sometimes it whispered my name, Sophia, so softly I almost thought I imagined it. Sometimes it chuckled quietly, like it knew I was scared and found it cute. Small things started happening during the day. My phone would be moved, the shower would turn on by itself. I would find my clothes folded differently. One morning I found a single red rose on my kitchen table. I don't own any roses. I installed security cameras inside and outside the house. Every night at 3:13, the cameras glitched for exactly 11 minutes. When the footage came back, nothing was wrong, but I knew something had been there. Week 3, I started hearing scratching inside the walls. Not mice, slow, deliberate scratching, like neinfalams dragging across wood from the other side. It followed me from room to room. When I stood in the living room, the scratching was behind the TV wall. When I went to the bathroom, it was right behind the mirror. I called the landlord. He sounded nervous and said, "Just ignore it. The last girl ignored it too." Then he hung up. I stopped sleeping in the bedroom. I slept on the couch with all the lights on and music playing. It didn't help. At 3:13 a.m., the breathing started right above my face on the ceiling. Then the voice spoke clearly for the first time. "Sophia, why won't you look at me?" I screamed and ran out of the house at 3 in the morning. I stayed at a motel for 3 nights. When I came back, the entire house smelt like men's cologne, the same one my ex used to wear, but stronger. On my bedroom wall, written in what looked like dried blood, were the words, "I waited for you." I packed my bags to leave forever. As I was dragging the suitcase down the stairs, the lights went out. The front door slammed shut and locked by itself. Then I heard footsteps upstairs, slow, heavy, confident footsteps, coming down towards me. I hid in the kitchen pantry. Through the small gap in the door, I saw a tall shadow move across the hallway. It stopped right in front of the pantry. I heard that calm breathing again. A soft male voice whispered, "I know you're in there, Sophia. I've been living behind the walls since before you moved in. I watched the last 3 girls, but you're my favorite. You smile in your sleep." I stayed silent, tears running down my face, knife in my shaking hand. He continued talking for hours. His name was Elias. He said he cut holes and tunnels behind every wall in the house years ago. He had been watching every tenant through tiny peepholes he drilled to perfection. He described things no stranger should know. The exact way I cried after my breakup, the songs I sing in the shower, the private videos I recorded for myself. He said he fell in love with me the first night I moved in. He said he killed the previous tenant because she tried to leave. He buried her under the basement floor. At some point in the early morning, the voice stopped. I waited another hour in dead silence, then slowly opened the pantry door. The house looked normal. I ran to the front door. It was unlocked now. I stepped outside into the cold early morning air and started running down the empty street. A car slowly pulled up beside me. The window rolled down. It was a normal-looking man in his 30s with a warm smile, short dark hair, kind eyes. "Sophia, you look scared. Need a ride? I'm Elias. I live right behind your walls." I screamed and ran into a neighbor's yard. The police came. They searched the entire house for hours. They found nothing. Then they started tearing down the walls. Behind the plaster, they discovered an entire hidden network of narrow tunnels and crawl spaces that ran through the whole house. Small platforms where someone could sit and watch every room. Dozens of tiny peepholes perfectly positioned at eye level. Hundreds of photos of me sleeping, showering, crying, changing clothes, my stolen underwear, my diary pages, even strands of my hair carefully collected. In one small chamber behind my bedroom wall, they found a chair, a sleeping bag, food wrappers, and a notebook. The last entry, written the night I tried to leave, read, "She almost left tonight. If she tries again, I'll take her smile with me so she can never leave me." They never found Elias. I changed my name and moved across the country. New city, new life, new locks, new cameras. But every night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., no matter where I am, I still wake up to the sound of soft, calm breathing right next to my ear. And sometimes I hear a quiet chuckle and a whisper, "I'm still watching, Sophia. I'll always be right behind the wall."